What if I told you that the most painful criticism you've ever received is actually the greatest gift anyone could give you? Marcus Aurelius, the philosopher emperor of Rome, faced daily attacks on his character and discovered that every insult was a growth opportunity in disguise. 2,000 years ago, he developed 12 precise techniques that turned poison into medicine. And today, these same strategies can armor your mind against any verbal attack in less than 24 hours. Subscribe to the channel, leave your like and comment from what part of the world you're watching, because now I'm going to tell you everything. Have you ever wondered why the words of other people can make you feel so upset? Why do the opinions and judgments of others have so much power over how you feel inside? If you think about your life, there are probably moments you remember clearly. A teacher at school once said you could have done better. A friend pointed out your mistake in front of others. Your boss at work told you something in your project was not good enough. Even sometimes a stranger made a comment that stayed with you long after. These moments are common for everyone. At some point, every person hears criticism. Criticism is when someone says something about you or your actions that they think should be different. They might say you did something wrong or not good enough. They might give you advice, or they just might say something negative. This can happen at home. Maybe a family member says you forgot to do your chores, or you should behave better. It can happen at school, at work, or in public. Sometimes the person criticizing cares about you and wants you to improve. Sometimes they just want to point out your faults. No matter the reason, criticism finds every person sooner or later. It is important to know that criticism is part of being human. It is not something only bad people face. It is not only for those who do something wrong. Even people who are kind, smart, talented, or hard-working will hear criticism at some point. It comes from parents, teachers, friends, bosses, co-workers, and even from people you have never met. In today's world, even strangers on the internet can criticize you, your work, or your opinions. This is just how life is. Nobody can avoid criticism completely. But why does criticism happen? It happens because everyone sees the world in their own way. Every person has different experiences, feelings, and ideas. What seems right to one person may look wrong to another. For example, you may think you did a good job on a school project, but your teacher might think you could add more details. You may believe you are kind to everyone, but a friend might see things you did not notice. Sometimes people give criticism to help you get better. Sometimes they just want to share their opinion. And sometimes people criticize because they are upset, jealous, or do not understand your situation. There are many reasons why criticism happens, and often they are not about you at all. Sometimes people use criticism as a way to express their own feelings. Maybe they feel angry, or they are having a bad day, or they wish they had your chance or luck. Their words might say more about what is happening inside them than what is true about you. If you stop to think about why someone said something, you may realize it is just their point of view. When you hear criticism, it can make you feel many things. Even simple words can feel heavy in your heart. You might feel hurt, angry, or embarrassed. Sometimes you feel like you want to hide. You might wonder, am I really not good enough? Why do people always see only my mistakes? These feelings are normal. Almost everyone feels this way at some time in their life. When other people point out something we could do better, it feels like they are seeing our weakness, and that is hard to face. But criticism is not always bad. Sometimes it can help you. Imagine you are learning to cook. If someone tells you that your soup needs more salt, they are pointing out something you can improve. If a teacher says your essay would be better with more examples, they are helping you see how to make your work stronger. Not all criticism feels nice, but some of it teaches you important lessons. It can show you things you cannot see by yourself. It can remind you that learning and growing is part of life. Of course, not all criticism is fair or helpful. Some people criticize just to make themselves feel better. Some people want to bring you down. Others may not know the full story. They do not see your hard work or special challenges. When these people criticize, their words can hurt, but they may not help you improve. Instead, their words can make you doubt yourself or feel discouraged. Because of these many types of criticism, it is easy to feel confused. Should you listen to what people say? Should you ignore them? How do you know if criticism is useful or only meant to hurt? The truth is, understanding criticism means learning a skill. This skill takes time to develop, but it starts with information. You need to recognize what criticism is and why it happens to everyone. It is also important to remember that people have different opinions. What your teacher, friend, or boss says is just their point of view. If you asked someone else, they might say something very different about the same action. This means that criticism is often more about what the other person believes than about who you are. For example, if one boss says your idea will not work, another boss may think it is a great new direction. If one friend thinks your taste in music is bad, another friend may love it. Understanding that people see things in different ways can help you worry less about their words. You realize that criticism is not always a final truth or a fixed judgment. It is just information, just feedback. Sometimes it is something you can use, and sometimes it is not helpful. You get to choose what you do with it. You are the person who decides how much power you give to someone's opinion. Still, many people react to criticism as if it is the last word on who they are. They forget that they have their own point of view and their own value. They let the comments of others decide how they feel about themselves. This is normal, but it can also cause a lot of pain and worry. It is harder to enjoy life if you always fear what others might say about you. You may even avoid trying new things if you worry too much about possible criticism. But it does not have to be this way. The first step is to see that criticism is only a part of life, not the end of your story. What someone says does not take away your value or your strengths. It is only a message for you to consider. Once you understand this, you can start to react differently. You do not need to let criticism break your spirit. You do not need to carry those words with you forever. Think about a time you were criticized. Maybe it was yesterday, or maybe it was years ago. What did you feel? What did you do? Did those words change how you saw yourself? Did they stop you from trying again, or did they push you to work harder? Every person has felt the sting of criticism, and every person has a story about how they dealt with it. Some people became shy. Some became angry. Some ignored it. Some used it to improve. How you react is your choice, and your reactions can change with practice. Many people believe that if they just did everything right, they could avoid criticism. They think, if I am perfect, nobody will ever say anything bad. But this is not true. Even the kindest, most successful people get criticized. If you look at famous artists, leaders, or thinkers, you see that they faced much criticism in their lives. Some were told their ideas were useless. Some were laughed at. Some were even attacked for trying to do something new. Yet they kept going. If criticism is something that happens to everyone and you cannot run away from it, what can you do? First, you can learn to understand it. Understanding takes away some of its power. If you look at criticism as feedback, not as a punishment or proof of your weakness, it becomes easier to accept. Feedback is information. It shows you how others see your actions. Sometimes, this information can help you reach your goals faster. Sometimes, it teaches you what to avoid. Sometimes, it is just noise you can ignore. Think of criticism as a tool. A tool is something you use to build or fix things. It is not always pleasant to hear what needs changing, but without this knowledge, it is harder to grow. This does not mean all criticism is smart or useful. It means you have the wisdom to know the difference. This wisdom starts with listening carefully and asking honest questions. Is there something true in what the person is saying? Is there a way you can be better? Or is the criticism only a personal opinion with no real value for you? This honest look at criticism can make a big difference in your life. When you stop seeing criticism as something that wounds you and start seeing it as a message you can use or toss away, you begin to grow. You start to notice that you can handle things that used to upset you. When you do not give every negative comment the power to hurt you, you keep your inner peace. You also become a person who learns from every situation, even the hard ones. It is also important to accept that you do not have to be perfect. No person is right or successful all the time. Every person makes mistakes. Every person can learn something new. Criticism reminds you that life is a path of constant learning. When someone points out something you did not see or reminds you of an area to improve, you do not need to feel small. Instead, you can feel grateful for the chance to grow. Sometimes you will find that the criticism you hear is not useful at all. Perhaps someone is angry or jealous. Perhaps they want to hurt you. When this happens, you should remember that their words are not about you, but about their own feelings or problems. You do not have to accept unfair or cruel criticism. You have the right to listen, decide if there is anything useful, and leave the rest behind. This is a skill you can practice, and over time, it gets easier. So, what if you started seeing criticism with new eyes? What if, when someone points out a mistake or says something you do not like, your first thought is not to feel angry or embarrassed? What if instead you ask yourself, is there a lesson here? Or is this person showing me a way I can grow? Maybe you will find something helpful. Maybe not. But either way, you will feel stronger because you are choosing your response. As you learn to understand criticism, you will see that it is not a final judgment about who you are. It is only feedback. Feedback is not the end. It is a chance to look at yourself and decide what you want to do next. This kind of thinking does not make you weak. It makes you wise. Wisdom is not about having no problems. It is about handling problems in a way that helps you grow. Now, if you remember only one thing from all these ideas, remember this. Everyone will be criticized at some point. You are not alone. How you respond to criticism is what matters most. You can let it make you bitter, or you can let it make you better. The power is in your hands. Life is full of chances to learn, and criticism is just one of those chances. With time and practice, you will see that criticism loses its power to hurt you deeply. You will begin to see it as something you can handle, something that teaches you, and sometimes even something that makes you proud of how strong you have become. Things that once made you feel small or sad become simple moments to use for your own good. You become the person who controls your feelings and your actions, no matter what others say. When you look back on all those moments of criticism in your life, you will understand that each one was just another step in your learning. Some taught you important lessons. Some taught you to ignore noise. All taught you that you are stronger than you think. Criticism is not something to fear. It is something to understand and use with care. And so, understanding criticism is the first step on a path to handling it in a calm, wise, and confident way. It is not easy at first, but with time you can become someone who reacts with strength and calm, not with pain. Every moment of criticism is another chance to be your best self, grow in wisdom, and live your life without fear of what others might say. When you think about moments when someone shared a critical comment with you, you might notice many feelings rising in your body and mind. Sometimes these feelings are hard to describe, but they are very real. You may remember feeling tense, upset, or worried. These reactions are so common that most people experience them without even stopping to think about why they happen. It is important to understand these feelings because only when you notice what is happening inside you can you begin to respond in a new way. When criticism comes your way, your first feeling is often a kind of pain. It is not the pain you feel from touching something sharp, but a pain that is felt inside. This pain usually comes from feeling like someone has seen a weakness or a mistake. You might feel exposed or small. When someone points out a problem in your work or your behavior, for a moment, you may doubt yourself. Another very common reaction to criticism is anger. Maybe you feel your face get hot, or you want to respond very quickly. You might feel like shouting, or you might want to say something back to defend yourself. Anger may rise because you think the criticism is unfair or rude. You may feel that the person does not see your real side or your good intentions. Many times this anger is loud in your mind, even if you do not show it on the outside. Frustration is also a natural response. Perhaps you worked hard on something and someone still found a problem. You may feel like nothing you do is ever good enough for some people. This can make you feel tired or disappointed. Some people experience embarrassment when they are criticized. If the critical comment happens in front of others, this feeling can become even stronger. You might worry about what others think of you now. You may wish you could leave the room, or you may feel your body shrinking as you remember the words over and over. Sometimes you feel misunderstood. Maybe the criticism does not match what you wanted to say or do. Perhaps the person only saw part of your effort. When this happens, you want to explain yourself or prove the critic wrong. You may even think, if only they knew the whole story, they would not judge me like this. All these feelings, pain, anger, frustration, embarrassment, being misunderstood, are normal. They are almost automatic. This is part of being human. When someone points out something negative or a possible fault, your mind and body react in a way that is meant to protect you. It is how people have learned to survive in groups for many, many years. Your emotions come to warn you, to tell you that something important is happening. Your body often reacts during criticism too. Maybe your shoulders become tense, your heart begins to beat faster, or your hands feel cold. Some people notice their stomachs feel strange, or their breathing becomes very shallow. You may want to step back, cross your arms, or simply turn away from the person who is criticizing you. It is important to remember that these reactions are signs that you care about how you are seen by others. You want to be respected, understood, or liked. You want your efforts to be appreciated. Wanting this is not wrong. It only becomes a problem when these strong feelings control what you do next, instead of you choosing your response with care. Sometimes, a critical comment can stay in your mind long after the words have been spoken. You might replay the conversation again and again. Each time, you feel the same strong emotions. You may think about what you should have said, or imagine ways to prove yourself. These thoughts and feelings can take much of your energy, making it difficult to focus on other parts of your day. Often, when you act from this place of strong emotion, it is easy to make mistakes. You might answer with words you later regret. You might act without thinking, or you may shut down and stop doing things you used to enjoy out of fear that you will be criticized again. This is how criticism can have too much power over your life if you do not understand your reactions. Some people try to protect themselves by becoming very quiet. They avoid sharing their ideas. They say less in group meetings, or they avoid trying new things. They hope that by not being noticed, they will not be criticized. But this choice can also make life lonely and small, and the fear of criticism does not really go away. Other people do the opposite. They react very strongly, raising their voices or arguing back right away. This might create more tension or even more criticism. Fast, emotional reactions rarely solve the problem. They usually make both people feel worse. There are people who feel so hurt by criticism that they never forget the words. Even after many days or even years, the memory can make them feel pain again. This is because the mind holds on to emotional moments more than ordinary times. The hurt stays, and sometimes it becomes part of how you see your own value. All these natural responses show that criticism touches something very deep inside us. Most people want to feel worthy. Most want to feel safe in their community, their family, or their school. When this safety feels threatened, even by a small comment, the inside of a person can feel shaken. But there is something important to notice here. You do not have to be ruled by your first emotional reaction to criticism. You are not just your feelings. You have a mind that can pause and think. You can learn to notice these feelings as they come and give yourself space before you react. Feeling these strong reactions shows you care about your work and your place in the world. It means you take things seriously. But strong emotions alone do not help you learn from the moment or decide what to do next. If your only reaction is anger or embarrassment, you do not get a chance to see if something in the criticism could help you grow. This is why the first step after experiencing the natural reaction to criticism is to pay attention to what is happening inside of you. When you feel the pain or anger coming up, try to notice it. Tell yourself silently, "I am feeling upset because someone criticized me." This moment of noticing gives you a small pause. In that pause, you have a chance to choose something different. Some people like to take a deep breath or count slowly inside their mind. Others find it helps to sit down quietly or walk away for a very short time, just long enough to calm the strong feelings. These small actions do not prevent the hurt, but they allow you to move out of your first reaction. With each pause, you get better at handling hard moments. It is also useful to remind yourself that everyone has strong emotional reactions to criticism. You are not strange for feeling upset. Even those who seem very calm on the outside often feel pain inside. Over time, as you see these reactions in yourself, you learn it is just a part of being a person. You cannot always control what you feel first, but you do have some control over what you do next. You might ask, why do my feelings become so strong when someone criticizes me? Part of the answer is that people will often link their value to what others think. Maybe as a child you learned that being approved of or feeling loved depended on doing things right. Maybe you were often praised when you did well and criticized when you made a mistake. These early experiences can create the belief that criticism means you are not good enough or not loved. As you grow older, you can start to challenge these beliefs. You can remind yourself that making mistakes or being criticized does not make you worthless. It only means you are human, and like every human, you are always learning. Accepting this simple truth can help calm some of the emotional pain that comes with criticism. Another big reason criticism feels so hard is that your mind tends to give more attention to negative comments than to positive ones. If 10 people say something nice and one person says something negative, your mind often focuses on the negative. This is how human brains work. But just because your mind does this does not mean it is showing you the full truth. You can practice seeing all the feedback you receive, not just the criticism. There are times when you might feel the urge to defend yourself right away after hearing criticism. You may want to explain, to fight, or to run away. These urges are strong, but they do not always help you. Sometimes trying to defend yourself quickly means you do not really listen to what was said. Other times it makes the situation worse, especially if you speak with anger. When you choose to pause, notice your feelings, and respond with care, you start to change your relationship with criticism. You no longer give all your power to your emotional reaction. You take back some control. Instead of being thrown off by every negative comment, you begin to stand steady. It is also important to remember that your emotional reaction is information. Your feelings can show you what is important to you. If a criticism hurts you very much, it may be because you care deeply about that part of your life. Maybe it is your art, your family, your ideas, or your hard work. This is not something to be ashamed of. Caring is part of being alive. But it also means you deserve to treat yourself with kindness, especially when you feel the first sting of criticism. In some cases, feeling strong emotions after criticism means you just need time. Sometimes it is best not to respond right away. Give yourself a moment, an hour, or even a day to let the feelings settle. This is not weakness, it is wisdom. You do not need to answer every criticism as soon as you hear it. Letting your feelings calm down helps you see more clearly what you want to do next. There are also people in your life who may give criticism in a harsh or careless way. If you know their words always make you feel terrible, you can choose to protect your mind by not giving their comments so much space in your thoughts. This does not mean you never listen, but it does mean you give yourself the freedom to decide whose opinion truly matters to you. When you next experience criticism, notice your reaction with gentleness. Say to yourself, "This hurts because I care." Give your feelings a little space to move and then decide what you will do next. Will you shout or will you listen? Will you believe the worst about yourself or will you look for what is true and useful? These choices are where your real strength begins to show. With practice, you may see that your emotional reactions change over time. What once felt huge may begin to feel smaller. What once made you afraid may start to seem easier to face. Each new experience gives you a chance to practice responding with calm, to remind yourself of your value, and to learn from what happens, good or bad. Sharing your feelings with someone you trust can help too. If a criticism makes you feel very upset, talk to a friend or someone who cares about you. Let them know how you feel. Sometimes just saying the feelings out loud helps you see them with new eyes. You may find their support makes the pain smaller. You also may discover that other people have the same reactions as you. You do not have to deal with hard feelings alone. It is also helpful to look back on past experiences. Think of a time you were criticized in the past. What did you feel then? What did you do with those feelings? How did things turn out? Often you will see that even when it felt very bad at first, you got through it. Maybe you learned something important. Maybe you became stronger because of that moment. By bringing a gentle curiosity to your emotional reactions, you build understanding. You can ask yourself, what is this feeling telling me? You do not have to judge yourself for feeling hurt, angry, or embarrassed. These are not signs of weakness. They are signs you are alive and you care. Treat yourself as you would treat a good friend who is having a hard day. Sometimes you may choose to write down your feelings after criticism. Writing what you feel can help you see patterns. You may notice that certain people or situations bring out the strongest reactions in you. With this knowledge, you can prepare for those moments or make better choices about where to focus your energy. More than anything, know that your first reaction to criticism does not have to be your final choice. You may always feel a sting, but you do not have to let that sting decide your next step. Your feelings are normal, but your response is up to you. As you become more curious about your reactions, you will start to see criticism not only as something that hurts, but also as something that is part of your growth. When you respond to criticism, not out of anger or pain, but with calm and understanding, you begin to feel stronger. With each new experience, you gain confidence that you can face whatever words people may bring. Your worries about what others will say start to lose their power. You remember your own value, you treat yourself and others kindly, and you keep moving forward. All of these small choices and new understandings build a strong foundation inside you. You realize that you do not have to fear criticism, nor do you have to run from it. By learning to notice and handle your natural reactions, you prepare yourself to meet every new challenge with calm, clear thinking, and the hope to learn something useful in every moment. Many things in life can feel difficult when you experience strong emotions, especially after hearing something negative about yourself or your actions. When your mind becomes full of questions and old memories, it is not always simple to see the situation clearly. You might wonder if you should listen to the comments or let them go. You might wonder if there is anything useful inside the criticism. These questions are important. They show that you want to make good choices and grow. Learning to see criticism as something other than only pain can help change what happens next. Imagine a moment when someone told you that you made a mistake or did not do something well. Maybe your first reaction was sadness or frustration. You might have said nothing, but inside you felt uncomfortable. It is normal to focus on the hurt. But after that, you might start to ask yourself questions. What if there is a lesson hidden in those words? What if you could find something that helps you get better? Every person has the power to change the way they look at criticism. Instead of treating it as something that stops you or lowers your confidence, you can look at it as a new chance. This does not mean that you have to like criticism or that you believe every word. It means you can look for something positive inside the negative moment. When criticism comes, it gives you information about how other people see your actions or words. Even if you do not agree, you can decide to use this information in a way that makes you stronger. Seeing criticism as an opportunity means you start to look for lessons. Maybe you hear a suggestion that helps you fix a small detail. Maybe you discover an area where you can practice more. Sometimes, someone else's words help you see things you did not notice before. Small changes can lead to bigger improvements in time. Of course, not every critical comment has something helpful in it, but often there is at least one thing you can use for your own growth. Try to remember a time when a critical comment helped you. Perhaps you did not see it right away, but later you realized it made you better. It could have been a coach who told you how to play more carefully, a teacher who asked you to explain your ideas more clearly, or a friend who said your actions hurt their feelings. Sometimes, when the first emotion passes, you see that this information helped you change for the better. In these moments, criticism becomes one step on your path to improvement. There are many ways to notice opportunities in criticism. One way is to become curious when someone says something negative about you. Curiosity helps you ask, what can I learn from this? It does not matter if the voice is gentle or loud, or if the comment was made privately or in front of others. The important thing is to ask yourself if there is something true or useful. Sometimes asking, is any part of this right? Can open your mind to new ideas. Another way to find opportunity in criticism is to see it as a mirror. Sometimes you cannot see everything about yourself. Other people notice things you do not. They may see your habits, your words, or your actions from a new angle. Even if you do not agree with their view, you can still look at yourself with new eyes for a moment. This makes it easier to grow and change the parts of yourself that matter to you. When you hear criticism, you can also ask yourself more questions. Does the person have experience or knowledge you respect? Do they want to help you, even if their words are not perfect? Did you hear this comment from more than one person over time? If the answer is yes, maybe their feedback has something important for you to learn. Sometimes criticism is a chance to practice new skills. For example, imagine you are learning to speak a new language and someone corrects your words. The criticism may feel uncomfortable, but it also gives you a new way to say things next time. If you use this feedback, you get better. These small pieces of advice, even if they do not feel good at first, become part of your journey. Opportunity in criticism can also mean you ask for more information. If someone tells you there is a problem, you can gently ask them to explain what they mean. You can say, "Can you help me understand what you mean by that?" Or, "Do you have a suggestion for how I could improve?" This shows that you want to learn, not just defend yourself. Often, this attitude brings more helpful answers and makes the other person see your willingness to grow. When you look for a lesson in criticism, you may even notice positive things the critic did not mean to say. For example, if someone points out a mistake in your work, it could mean they believe you have the ability to do better. Their words show they expect good things from you. This is a kind of respect, even if it does not feel that way at first. It is also true that not all criticism will give you useful information. Some people may criticize out of anger, jealousy, or misunderstanding. In these moments, your opportunity is different. The lesson may be to practice patience or to trust your own judgment. You can learn to let go of comments that offer you nothing and keep only the pieces that help you. Knowing how to separate helpful criticism from useless criticism is an important skill. You might also notice that your own feelings can guide you. If criticism hurts because it is close to something you care about, maybe that area is ready for growth. Maybe you have put effort there, but you still want to do better. If criticism does not bother you much, maybe it is not as important in your life, or maybe you know yourself well in that area. Learning to see criticism as an opportunity does not happen in one day. It takes time. At first, hurt feelings may block your view, but with practice, you can start to look past the pain and search for the lesson. Each time you succeed in doing this, you feel a little stronger and more prepared for the next time. Another idea is to see criticism as a signal for reflection. When you are criticized, ask yourself, is there anything I can do differently? Did I do my best? Is there someone I could ask for advice? These questions turn the critic's words into fuel for your journey. They push you to look at yourself honestly, but also kindly. Growth does not mean changing everything about yourself just because someone said something negative. Growth means choosing what is important to you and working to improve it. You can thank the critic in your mind if their words help, and you can quietly ignore them if they do not. Opportunities can come even from criticism that is not well meant. Imagine someone speaks to you with anger or tries to make you feel bad on purpose. Even in this case, there is a small chance for growth. You can practice staying calm, not reacting with more anger, and protecting your mind from harm. Each time you do this, you are building your own character and self-respect. It is helpful to remember that the greatest changes sometimes come from difficult moments. You may not love criticism, but you can respect the growth it brings. People who develop the habit of learning from every situation often become wiser and more confident. They see that every hard comment or difficult moment is also a chance to move a little closer to who they want to become. Change is not always easy. Some lessons may take weeks or months before you see the true value of criticism. Sometimes you will only understand years later that a hard comment helped you avoid a big mistake or move forward more quickly. Being open to this slow learning is part of seeing opportunity in every comment. Welcoming criticism does not mean giving up your self-respect. If someone says something that makes you feel unworthy or small, remember that your value does not change because of another person's words. You are still the same person you were before, but now you have new information to use or ignore as you wish. There are days when criticism will make you want to quit or run away. It can feel like you are not able to do anything right. On those days, remind yourself that every person who tries something new or important faces criticism from others. It is part of moving forward. You do not have to let it control you. Sometimes it is useful to write down the critical comments you receive. From time to time, read these notes and ask, what did I learn? Did I change something because of this? After some time, you may see that many criticisms helped you improve, or maybe you see that you made the right choice not to listen. This record can encourage you when you face new challenges. Talking to someone you trust is also helpful. Sharing your experience helps you see the situation from a different point of view. Sometimes, another person can help you find the lesson faster and remind you of your strengths. They can tell you if the criticism is worth listening to or if you should move on. Developing the habit to look for opportunities in criticism makes it much easier to stay calm and focused. Each time you face a negative comment with curiosity and an open mind, you protect your peace and support your growth. Over time, you will notice that you react less with pain and more with thoughtful action. You can practice turning criticism into opportunity every day, even with small comments. If a friend says you arrived late to a meeting, you can ask yourself if you need to plan your time differently. If a family member says you forgot something important, you can use this as a signal to create reminders or new routines. Small improvements add up and build your confidence. Sometimes criticism can show you what you are doing well, even in the middle of a negative comment. If someone says, "You made a mistake, but I know you can do better," they are telling you that they trust your ability to improve. This confidence, even if hidden inside a critical moment, can encourage you to try again with more energy. When criticism makes you feel lost or sad, remember that you are not alone. Every person has felt this way at some point. The important step is to turn your attention toward what you can do, instead of only focusing on the pain. Ask yourself, what is in my power to change? What small step can I take right now? Starting with one small action helps you move past hurt feelings and brings you back to your goals. With time, you may notice your view of criticism has changed. Instead of feeling afraid or angry, you begin to welcome any comment as a chance to check your progress. You listen, you consider, and you decide what is best for you. Each lesson, big or small, adds to your strength and wisdom. All of this becomes easier if you remember to be gentle with yourself. Some days will be hard, and some criticism will be difficult to hear. That is part of life. Treat yourself with patience. If you make a change and see progress, be proud of your efforts. If you decide not to follow someone's advice, trust yourself and move forward. As you keep looking for opportunities in criticism, you prepare yourself for new challenges. You build a mind that is open but not easy to hurt. You keep learning no matter what people say. This way of living brings you closer to your dreams and helps you enjoy even the difficult moments, because you know they lead to greater strength. With practice, you no longer fear criticism. It becomes something useful, sometimes even powerful. Each new critical comment is simply another place to find a lesson, to try something new, or to become more patient with yourself and others. The more you do this, the less control negative words have over your life. Your confidence grows, and you move forward with less fear and more hope. Using criticism as an opportunity is a gift you give yourself. It is a tool that works in every area of life. You become more honest, more skilled, and more ready for what comes next. This simple change in your way of thinking opens the door to better choices, better work, and a happier, stronger mind. Each day you practice, you build a habit that helps you for the rest of your life. When you begin to look for chances to grow after hearing tough words from others, you may wonder if there is a way to stay calm and steady inside. Sometimes it feels hard to know what to do with criticism, even when you want to learn from it. You might be asking yourself how you can face these moments without feeling shaken every time. People have asked this question for as long as there have been families, friends, or communities. For many years, some people have looked to the wisdom of Stoic thinkers to find answers. Long ago, Stoic philosophy began to take shape among people who spent time thinking deeply about life's challenges. Stoicism is a way of thinking and living that teaches you how to keep your mind peaceful and your heart strong, even when things do not go as you wish, or when others are not kind. The Stoics believed that while you cannot control everything that happens to you, you are always able to choose how you respond inside. You do not have to let outside events or other people's comments control your happiness or peace. Marcus Aurelius, who lived many centuries ago, became one of the most important Stoic thinkers. He had a very difficult life. He was an emperor, which meant he had huge duties and many people watching and judging him every day. People often gave him advice, some of it helpful and some of it harsh or unfair. He faced anger, betrayal, and constant pressure. Still, he found a way to keep his mind calm and full of purpose. He wrote about his ideas in a simple way, so others could try them too. Stoic thought begins with a very important idea. What happens outside of you does not have the power to control your mind unless you let it. Events, words, and actions happen, but your thoughts about those things decide how you feel. For example, if someone says a hard thing to you, it is not those words themselves that cause lasting trouble. Instead, it is what you think about the words and how much space you give them in your mind. If you decide to see every comment as a deep wound, you will feel hurt all the time. If you see comments as opinions or as tools for learning, you have the power to protect your peace. The Stoics believed that a wise person is not someone who never feels upset, but someone who notices their feelings and then chooses how to act. It is normal to feel pain or anger when someone criticizes you, but you can step back, pause, and decide what matters most. Which part of this is true? What can I learn? This practice builds inner strength. The Stoics did not run from difficult feelings or hide from criticism. Instead, they used these moments to get stronger inside and to grow wiser every day. One important teaching from Stoic philosophy is that opinions are not facts. Every person sees the world through their own beliefs, fears, and hopes. Just because someone says something about you does not mean it is the full truth. Sometimes their words show more about their own needs or limits than about you. Marcus Aurelius often reminded himself that most things people say or do come from their own place, their own mind. When you remember this, it becomes easier to listen with calm instead of worry or anger. Stoics also remind you that criticism is not a judgment of your whole self. It is only about an action, a word, or a moment. Your real worth does not rise or fall depending on what others think today. You are more than one event, one mistake, or one person's opinion. This simple belief frees you from feeling trapped by every harsh comment you hear. It helps you hold on to your value even after a hard moment. Marcus Aurelius wrote that you should care more about your own actions, words, and choices than about what you cannot control. This means that when someone criticizes you, your job is to look at your own part honestly, to listen for any truth, and then let go of things that are outside your power. You do not need to please everyone or meet every expectation. You need to live in a way that matches your values and your sense of what is right. To do this, the Stoics encourage slow, careful reflection. When you hear criticism, instead of reacting right away, take time to think. Ask yourself if there is something you can change, or if the comment is only an opinion you do not need to accept. Even if the words make you feel pain, you can let yourself breathe, wait, and then answer in a calm way. You do not have to fight or run. You can listen, learn, and then choose your next step with care. Stoic thinkers do not say you must accept every hard word or become cold and silent. Instead, they hope you treat criticism as a visitor. See what is useful, and let the rest go. Some feedback will help you grow. Some will not matter. Your wisdom is in knowing the difference. Marcus Aurelius wrote that you have a duty to yourself to improve when you can, and to protect your peace when you cannot. Through this way of thinking, you also notice that your mind is not just a place for worries or old stories. Your mind is a tool. You can guide your thoughts toward questions that help you. Is this useful for me? Can I become better through this? Who do I want to be, even when things feel hard? Each time you ask these questions, you are practicing Stoic ideas. Another idea in Stoic philosophy is that everything in life is temporary. Today's pain or trouble will not last forever. A comment that stings right now usually becomes smaller in your mind with time. If you can remember this, you may not hold on to hurt for so long. Marcus Aurelius often asked himself, will this matter to me in 10 days, in 1 year, in 10 years? By seeing the big picture, it became easier not to give too much power to small or unkind words. Caring about respect is part of Stoic thought as well. When others criticize you, treat them with respect, even if they do not treat you kindly. This is not to please them, but to keep your own character strong. You show you are not controlled by anger. You are free to choose a better way, no matter what another person does or says. Marcus Aurelius also thought about gratitude. Even when a comment feels harsh, he wrote about feeling grateful for the chance to learn, to practice patience, or to become wiser. This does not mean you pretend not to feel hurt. It means you look for what you can take from the moment to become your best self. Even small lessons can be turned into growth with the right mind. Still, the Stoics were clear that not every word is useful, and that you do not need to try to please everyone. People will say all kinds of things, just unfair, helpful, or hurtful. Your role is to filter these words through your own wisdom. You decide what is true for you. You work at getting better when it is possible, and you keep your peace when the criticism is not helpful. This way of thinking gives you a simple plan for living with criticism. When you are criticized, remind yourself that the words are not the problem. The problem is what you think or feel about them. You have the power to decide how much space these words take in your life. Sometimes you will use them as a lesson, sometimes as a chance to let go, and always as a way to practice your own calm and strength. Stoic ideas can be practiced in very small ways. The next time someone says something negative, you can pause before you react. You can look inside yourself and ask, am I letting this word control me? Or am I using it to become wiser? Each time you choose calm over anger, truth over fear, or self-respect over worry, you are growing in the way the Stoics taught. Marcus Aurelius wrote about keeping a kind heart, even when others are difficult. He believed anger and harsh words do not help anyone. If you stay calm, listen with respect, and answer with care, you protect your own mind and show others a better way. One useful habit is to remind yourself every day that you are in charge of your thoughts. You can decide what matters to you, how you use your time and energy, and what you believe about yourself. Critics may appear in every part of life, but you are not required to bring every comment into your heart. You can thank those who help you improve and quietly move past those who try to hurt or stop you. Writing down your thoughts, as Marcus Aurelius did, can help too. When upset, it sometimes helps to write what you are feeling and thinking. This habit can show you how your mind works and give you space to find calm. You may see patterns, understand yourself more deeply, and learn when to use or ignore criticism. Some people think that Stoicism means becoming cold or not caring what others say or do. But real Stoic thinking is not about being hard or closed off. It is about building a peaceful mind so that you are strong in every situation. It is about having enough kindness to forgive, enough patience to wait, and enough wisdom to accept yourself. Facing criticism with a Stoic mind may feel unnatural at first. You might fall into old ways of thinking or react with pain. Still, with each try, you build a little more strength inside. Soon, you see that criticism does not scare you as much. You can live your life without being held back by every comment or judgment from others. Stoic thought is also helpful when you think about your goals and dreams. There will always be people who do not see things your way. There will be mistakes and changes along the road. If you learn from these moments, if you turn every hard word into a lesson or a moment of calm, you become the builder of your own mind, not just a person pushed around by outside events. Marcus Aurelius and other Stoic thinkers took each day as a new chance to become better, to listen more deeply, and to answer every challenge with care and dignity. You can do the same in your life. Criticism can be a friend, a lesson, or just a moment to practice your own wisdom. When you live with these Stoic ideas, you stop feeling like criticism is a heavy weight you must carry. You start to see it as part of being alive, as part of your path. Each new experience, each comment, kind or harsh, becomes a part of your practice. The more you do this, the more peaceful you feel inside. You may also begin to notice changes in your relationships. People see your calm, your respect, and your sense of peace. They may begin to bring you more honest feedback, or they may treat you with more care. Even if they do not change, you feel more sure of yourself because you are living by your own values, not just reacting to every word. These ideas, though they started centuries ago, fit every situation in life. At work, with friends, in your family, or even with strangers, you can practice Stoic thought to grow stronger and more peaceful. Every day becomes a place where learning is possible and where criticism has less power to hurt you. When you look at your life over time, you see that every hard moment, every word that once stung, has become a step on your path to wisdom. You understand that your real work is not to avoid criticism, but to learn from it, to choose your response, and to keep your peace as you grow. If you use Stoic philosophy to guide you, you do not have to be afraid of judgment, mistakes, or hard words. You become someone who is open to truth and able to let go of things that do not matter. This is not about becoming someone else, but about being your true self, calm, thoughtful, and ready for any moment. Every time you remember you can choose your reaction, you rebuild your confidence. Your mind becomes like a strong tree in the wind, steady and calm. Your life is shaped not only by what happens to you, but by how you choose to see, learn, and respond. By taking these ideas into your life, you give yourself the gift of freedom from the noise of other people's judgments. You fill your days with patience for yourself and patience for others, always looking for what you can learn and who you wish to become. Even the hardest criticism is simply another chance to practice, and every chance you take makes your life richer, wiser, and better. When you remember that you can always decide how to react, it becomes much easier to stay calm, even when someone says something unkind or unfair. Over time, you will notice that your confidence grows each day because you are living by your own principles and ideas, not just by what other people say. As you practice Stoic ideas in your life, you may want to know which steps you can take when someone gives you criticism. Marcus Aurelius, who spent much of his life facing comments, judgments, and harsh words, wrote about several steps that anyone can follow. These steps are simple and can help you keep your peace anytime a difficult moment happens. First, before anything else, try to be quiet and listen. When people criticize you, it is very easy to talk over them or to answer quickly. But listening is powerful. Give yourself space to hear the whole message. Do not jump in to defend yourself or to explain. Even if you are feeling upset inside, try to hear every word. Sometimes, if you wait, you may learn something new, and you will show others that you respect their right to speak. When the person finishes talking, take a breath, a short pause. Even just a few seconds lets you think about what you have heard. It gives your mind time to calm down and your emotions room to relax. During these moments, remind yourself that you do not have to answer right away. The other person's words are not a command for you to act right now. You are still in charge of your actions. Next, silently ask yourself if there is any truth in the criticism. This step is important because it makes you a learner, not just someone who reacts. Sometimes people see things that you miss about yourself. Maybe there is a small point in their words that you can use to grow, even if the rest of what they say is not helpful. If the comment is about something you did, ask yourself, did that happen? Could I have acted differently? By being honest, you can separate your own feelings from what is true. If you find a piece of truth or something useful in the criticism, thank the person in your mind. You do not need to say these words out loud, but being thankful helps you see the moment as a chance to improve. Every person makes mistakes or forgets things. It is normal. But if you can accept new ideas without getting angry, you become stronger and wiser. Then, let yourself ignore parts of the criticism that are not useful or kind. Not everything that others say is meant to help you. Sometimes people talk when they are angry or sad, and their words are not fair. You do not need to keep these words in your mind. Imagine taking only what you can use and letting the rest fall away. This skill becomes stronger each time you practice. Try to see if the person criticizes you often or if this is something new. Sometimes people only mention a mistake because they notice a pattern. Other times, someone is having a bad day and takes it out on you. If you notice someone often gives helpful feedback, you may want to listen more carefully. If someone is always negative, remember you have the right not to believe every word. Stay calm in your actions and voice. Even if someone criticizes you in a hard or rude way, do not respond the same way. Speak kindly and without raising your voice. If you feel your emotions growing too strong, you can say that you need a short time to think and will talk again soon. By staying calm, you show strength inside, and this often helps the other person calm down too. Remind yourself that everyone makes mistakes, including those who criticize you. Nobody is perfect. If you did something wrong, it does not mean you are a bad person. It means you are like every person in the world, learning and growing at each step. Treat yourself gently and remember that you can do better next time without being harsh to yourself now. If you think the criticism is not fair or true, let it go. You do not have to agree with every comment. Sometimes people are wrong about you or they do not know the full story. When this happens, you do not have to fight or become angry. You can simply decide in your mind that their words are not for you. Let these words pass by, like wind on your face that touches you for a moment and then goes away. There are moments when you may want to ask questions. If the criticism is not clear, or if you want to understand more, you can say, "Can you explain what you mean?" Or, "Can you give me an example?" This way, you show you are willing to learn and the other person feels heard. Asking good questions often leads to better conversations where both people learn something. If you can, thank the person who tried to help you, even if their words were not perfect. Saying thank you does not mean you fully agree. It only means you respect that they spoke to you. This helps keep relationships strong. When people feel respected, they are more willing to listen to you next time. Remember that everyone brings their own worries, problems, and hopes into every conversation. Sometimes people criticize because they feel small or worried in their own lives. Try not to let their pain become your pain. Their words can only hurt you if you hold on to them. You can be kind but still protect your own peace by not making their feelings your own. After you have time to think, decide what, if anything, you want to change. You do not have to change just because someone told you to. Make a choice that fits with your values and your goals. If there is something you want to do differently, make a simple plan. Write down the next step or talk about it with someone you trust. Small steps are better than big promises you cannot keep. If you decide to make a change, do it quietly and with care. Change does not need to be big and public. Many times the best changes are small things you do again and again. Maybe you try to arrive a little earlier, listen more carefully, or write down reminders. Over time, these small actions become habits and your confidence grows. Do not hold on to anger or shame after criticism. These feelings can fill your mind and make it hard to enjoy life. Instead, try to let go. Remind yourself that you are always learning and every mistake is part of your journey. Being gentle with yourself lets you keep your energy for more important things. Try to share your thoughts with people who care about you. Tell a friend, family member, or mentor about your experience. Sometimes talking helps you see the criticism with new eyes. Others can remind you of your strengths, give ideas for improvement, or just listen with kindness. Remember that the goal of these steps is not to become perfect. The goal is to become wiser, kinder, and more peaceful as you live your life. Even Marcus Aurelius made mistakes and felt pain when people criticized him. What made him different was that he used each moment to grow instead of letting the pain stop him. When you follow these steps, you practice being in control of yourself. You show yourself that you are not just a person who reacts to every outside event. You are someone who makes choices, who learns from experience, and who treats others with respect. There are times when criticism comes from someone you do not know well, maybe even from a stranger. In these moments, it is even more important to listen carefully and decide if the words are worth taking in. Ask yourself, does this person know me? Do they want to help, or are they just sharing their own stress? The more you practice asking these questions, the easier it becomes to care less about unhelpful comments. Remember also to look for patterns over time. If you hear the same feedback from many people, it is a good signal that there may be something to work on. But if only one person says something all the time and others do not agree, you can choose not to worry. Collect your own evidence and trust your own experience. If you are criticized for trying something new, remember this is a good sign. It means you are moving forward, taking risks and learning. Every new skill or idea takes time to develop. Criticism is part of getting better at anything. Be proud of yourself for trying and use the comments as tools, not as weapons against yourself. You can use these steps in places like school, work, family meetings, or with your friends. They work for big problems and small ones. With practice, they will become natural, and you will feel less stress when someone criticizes you. You will know what to do each time. If your mind keeps repeating a harsh comment, try to write it down on paper. Then write one thing you learned and one thing you will let go of. This exercise gives you control and stops bad feelings from growing. Each time you write, you remind yourself that you are learning, not just suffering. Remember that everyone's journey is different. Some people find it easy to forget harsh words. For others, it takes a long time. Be patient with yourself. There is no special day or age when it suddenly becomes simple. The important thing is to practice and to keep trying. If you are in a situation where criticism happens too often, or where it feels unfair and hurts you deeply, it is good to talk to someone you trust. No one should be treated with cruelty over and over. Support from others helps you see your situation more clearly and find better answers. Look back at times when you faced criticism and notice what worked well. Maybe you stayed calm, maybe you learned something new, or maybe you saw that the words were not true. Think about what you would like to do differently next time. Every experience teaches you and makes the next time easier. Bring kindness, patience, and respect into every moment that you face criticism. These are not only for others, they are for you as well. By treating yourself with the same care you would offer a friend, you remind yourself that you are worthy of peace and happiness. Sometimes you will want to share what you are learning with others. If a friend is upset by criticism, you can help by listening, showing respect, and reminding them of their own strength. Everyone needs support. Helping someone else can remind you of your own progress. With time, you will see that following the steps of Marcus Aurelius makes criticism smaller and less scary. Each piece of feedback becomes a tool, and each harsh word becomes just a short moment in your day. Your real story becomes one of growth, strength, and steady peace. Many times you will be proud of your answers and your ability to learn. Sometimes you may forget or feel upset again. This is a normal part of life. Stoic thinking means you keep trying, keep learning, and keep caring about the kind of person you wish to be. When you practice these steps, you become an example to others. People notice your calm, your respect, and how you use criticism wisely. Over time, they may begin to treat you and even each other with more care and respect as well. All these steps can be practiced every day, with every comment you hear. No matter how old you are or where you live, you can start now. Each time you listen, pause, ask questions, give thanks, and let go, you train your mind to be stronger. Little by little, you notice that criticism no longer controls you. You walk through life with a steady heart and a calm mind. You know how to learn from others, how to protect your own peace, and how to grow from every experience. Each step makes you wiser. Each day gives you a new chance to try again. As you follow this path, you shape your life in a way that feels good for you, full of learning, inner strength, and the quiet pride that comes from meeting life with courage. With each day that you practice new ways of facing criticism, you start to notice changes in how deeply words from other people affect you. You find that you worry less about negative comments. You begin to trust yourself more. It becomes easier to separate useful advice from noise. This happens slowly, and a big part of this change comes from learning to listen carefully and to understand the difference between truth and opinion. Every time a person says something about you or your actions, they are sharing their view. Their words may come from care, from worry, from anger, or from their own experience. Most people do not see your whole story. They see only a small piece of your day, your work, or your habits. They may not understand your reasons or your feelings. That is why it is so important to listen with care and to ask, what part of this is true? What part is only opinion? Listening carefully is the first and most important skill when responding to criticism. When someone is talking to you, give them your attention. Do not plan your answer while they are speaking. Try not to interrupt, even if you feel upset by their words. Let them finish. You can look at their face, hear their tone, and notice if there is any pain or kindness in their voice. Your only job at that moment is to understand what they are really saying. After the other person finishes, take a deep breath. Give yourself a pause to think. Your first feelings might be strong, hurt, anger, shame, or embarrassment. This is normal for everyone. You do not need to push these feelings away, but you also do not need to let them decide what you will do next. As your emotions start to settle, begin to look again at what was said. Ask yourself, which part of the comment is about me and which part is about the person talking? Sometimes criticism says more about the other person's mood or troubles than about your effort. Maybe they are having a difficult day, or maybe they do not know your full story. Remembering this can help you feel less pain and more understanding. Next, break the comment into parts if you can. For example, if someone says, "You always forget important things and never do your job right," there are many statements inside that one sentence. The words always and never are strong and usually not true for every moment. Try to look for specific facts. Did you forget one thing today? Did you make a mistake in one part of your work? Look for clear points you can check. If you are not sure about the meaning of the criticism, you can ask calm questions. Can you give me an example of when I forgot something? Or, what would you like me to do differently? Asking for examples helps you find out if the criticism has something real inside. It can also help the other person share more clearly what they mean. After you have listened to the other person and asked questions, take time to look at yourself with honest eyes. Is there something true in what was said? Maybe there is a small part you missed. Maybe there is a skill you could practice. This honest self-questioning is not about blaming yourself or feeling bad. It is about learning more about yourself so you can decide what to do next. It is also important to remember that not all criticism is correct. Some people see things wrongly or only from their own side. If you check inside yourself and with others, and you believe the comment is not true, you do not need to accept it. You are allowed to let opinions go, especially when they are not based on facts. This is not being closed to growth, but being wise in caring for your own mind. Try to separate opinion from fact every time you hear a comment. An opinion is what someone feels or thinks at one moment. A fact is something that can be seen, counted, or checked by many people. If a friend says, "I feel like you do not listen to me," this is a feeling, not a fact. If a teacher says, "You turned in your work 2 days late," that is a fact. You can always use facts to improve your actions, but opinions often come and go depending on the mood or day. When you hear the same opinion from several different people, it can sometimes point to an area where change could help you grow. If many people across many weeks or months say you seem distracted or forget to reply, maybe there is a habit you did not notice. In this case, it is wise to pay attention. If only one person says something, and it does not match your own picture or the views of others, it may just be their personal feeling. Listening carefully also means showing respect. Even if you feel angry or sad, answer with calm words. Do not interrupt or criticize back. You can say, "Thank you for your comment," or "I will think about what you've said." These simple answers keep the moment peaceful. They show the other person that you can listen, even when it is not easy. Over time, this habit makes your relationship stronger. Sometimes, after you hear criticism, your mind will try to replay the words over and over. It is easy to focus only on the painful parts. When this happens, write down what you heard. Then, write down your first feelings. After that, read what you have written and look for the useful parts. Is there something you can learn? Is there a new choice you want to make? Writing helps you see patterns and decide what to keep in your mind and what to let go. Think about times in the past when you heard criticism and later found it useful. Maybe it helped you do better in school, or in your job, or with a friend. You may not have liked hearing it at the start, but with time, you saw how it helped you. Remembering these times can help you feel stronger when you face new moments. Ask yourself, do I respect the person giving me feedback? If the answer is yes, you may want to listen more carefully. If you do not know them well, or if they are often negative, you may want to give their words less weight. You do not need to believe everyone equally. Trust your own judgment and keep checking over time to see if you need to make changes. Sometimes you will need time before you can really understand what was said. That is normal. Do not force yourself to find a clear lesson right away. Let your mind take time to calm. You may find after one sleep or after talking with a friend that the truth is easier to see. If you find truth in a comment, be thankful, even if it is hard. Growth is sometimes uncomfortable, but it helps you become wiser. You do not need to feel shame or to punish yourself for mistakes. Simply notice what you can do better and begin again. Not all advice is useful for you. Sometimes people speak from their own needs or fears. Ask yourself, will this help me reach my goals? Is it good for who I wish to become? If the answer is no, let the comment pass. Hold on to what is helpful and leave the rest behind. When several people share the same feedback and you respect their words, make a small plan for change. Write down one action. Tell a friend or mentor what you want to try next time. You can use new habits, reminders, or small shifts in what you do each day. Quiet moments after criticism are a chance to reflect. Give yourself time to see if your first feelings were true, or if they were just a reaction. Being honest with yourself is not always easy, but it is a way to become your own best friend. When criticism comes from someone you trust, or when it matches your own sense of what is true, use it as a step to get better. If it feels wrong, test it before believing it. You do not have to change every time someone has a different opinion. You can also look for patterns over many months or years. Maybe each year, someone gives you the same advice about being late, or not listening, or forgetting promises. Patterns are easier to trust than single comments. They help you see yourself from another view. Remember that each person speaks from their own experience. They may not mean to hurt you. Their words are shaped by their own day, their own troubles, and their own joys. If you can listen with patience, you may hear something useful, even if it is not spoken in the best way. At times, the criticism you receive will not help you improve at all. It could be based on misunderstanding, or even spoken just to upset you. In these cases, remind yourself of what you know to be true about yourself. Talk with people you trust who know your full story. Return to the facts about what you have done and let the pain pass. As you keep practicing, it gets easier to keep good advice close and to let go of opinions that do not help you. Your mind feels lighter. Criticism does not follow you for so long. You keep your focus on your own path and your own growth. You can practice these listening skills in many places. When a teacher or boss gives advice, when a friend makes a comment, or even when a stranger speaks about you, stop and listen fully. Repeat their words silently inside your mind and ask, is this about me, or is it about something else? The more you do this, the more skillful you become. In conversations, you can repeat what you heard. Say, let me make sure I understand. You are saying that. This small step helps the other person know you are truly listening. It also gives you a chance to check if you understood them right. Misunderstandings become much less common when you use this skill. Sometimes it is important to ask for time. If you are upset, you can say, I need some time to think about this. Can we talk later? This gives you space to calm down and to find the truth in the words without your first feelings getting in the way. Give yourself permission to not act on every opinion right away. Sometimes it is best to let the words rest in your mind. Check again after several days or weeks. If the advice still feels true, then you can take action. If it does not, it is fine to move on. Thank the person who took time to speak with you, even if you do not fully agree. Gratitude is a tool for peace. It helps end hard talks on a gentle note, and it keeps your heart open for next time. Help others learn to listen too. If a friend is hurt by criticism, share with them what you know. Listen to their feelings and help them see the facts among the opinions. Together you can grow stronger and more confident. Find ways to remember the difference between opinion and fact. Some people write these down, others talk about them with friends. Over time, you will notice that it is easier to make wise decisions. Your feelings will not be so easily shaken by every comment. As days go by, celebrate times when you listened well and found something useful. Do not worry about the moments when you made a mistake. You will have many chances to try again. If a comment makes you angry or worried, pause before you answer. Silence is safe. Give yourself kindness before you speak, and only share your answer when you are ready. Calm words build better understanding. Sometimes the best answer to criticism is to let it go without a fight. If the comment is small or from someone you do not see often, you can move forward quickly. Save your energy for what is important. Practice with patience. Over your life you will meet many people, and each one may have their own views about you and your actions. Some will help you, and some will not. Your job is to keep learning, to keep listening, and to keep growing. Trust yourself more as you notice how often you can separate truth from opinion. With each new step, your strength grows. You will see that criticism does not have to change your mood or your choices. It can become just another part of a day, not the ruler of your thoughts. You will know more about yourself. You will choose what to improve, what to keep, and what to let pass by. The power to decide what is true for you will always belong to you. Each time you listen carefully, ask good questions, sort out what is helpful, and leave out the rest, you will find that you move through life more freely. Your mind is light, your heart peaceful, and your steps sure. You can face any criticism, knowing that within it you have the courage to hear what matters and the wisdom to ignore what does not. When you reach a point where you can listen calmly and find what is helpful inside criticism, you start to notice something new. You notice that the biggest challenge is not always the words you hear, but how strong your own feelings can become. Words from others arrive quickly, but your reaction stays with you much longer. Learning how to handle your feelings during these moments is a skill that makes life better in every way. Every person feels emotions inside. When someone criticizes you, your heart may beat faster, your hands might shake, or your face could feel warm. Thoughts run quickly through your head. Why did they say that? Did I make a mistake? Am I not good enough? These strong feelings come to everyone. They are not signs of weakness. They are just a sign that you care deeply about what you do and how you are seen by others. Some feelings can be hard to manage. Anger might rise up and you want to shout or defend yourself right away. Fear may come, making you want to hide, stop talking, or avoid new things. Sadness could fill your day, making all your thoughts heavy and slow. Sometimes the feeling is embarrassment, especially if you were criticized in front of others. All these feelings are normal, but if you let them control you, you may say or do things that you wish you could change later. The Stoics, like Marcus Aurelius, understood how powerful emotions can be. They did not say that you should never feel upset. Instead, they taught people that you can notice your emotions, but do not have to be ruled by them. Your feelings are like a message telling you that something matters to you. But after you notice the message, you get to decide what happens next. When you feel strong emotions after criticism, the first helpful step is to slow down. You do not need to answer right away. Give yourself a short moment to take a slow, deep breath. Let your body feel what it needs to feel for a few seconds. You can even count slowly to 5 in your mind. This gives your mind and heart time to calm a little before you speak or act. After a short pause, pay attention to what you feel. You can ask yourself, what am I feeling right now? Is it anger, shame, sadness, fear, embarrassment, or something else? By naming the feeling inside your mind, it becomes a little smaller and easier to handle. You may notice that you feel 2 or 3 emotions at the same time. That is normal too. Once you name your feelings, you can remind yourself they will not last forever. The first few minutes after criticism are usually the hardest. After some time has passed, the feeling loses its power. Some people find it helps to leave the room for a few minutes, drink water, take a walk, or simply look out the window. Others like to close their eyes, breathe deeply, and let themselves be quiet until their mind feels clear again. It is also helpful to tell yourself, these are just feelings. They show me that I care, but I am not my feelings. You are much more than a single bad moment or a strong reaction. Feelings are like waves. They come and they slowly pass. When you accept this, you do not have to fight what you feel or push it away. If your feelings are still strong after a little time, you can talk to someone you trust. Explain to a friend, teacher, or family member that you heard something that made you upset. Tell them what you feel. Sometimes just putting your feelings into words helps to make them softer. The other person may help you see things from a new point of view or remind you of your good qualities. There are also private ways to manage your feelings when you do not want to speak to anyone. One way is to write down what you feel. Take a piece of paper and write, I feel angry because, or I feel embarrassed because, or simply list the words that come to your mind. You do not need to show your writing to anyone. The act of writing helps your mind understand what is happening inside you. You can also make a small plan before you have to face criticism. Tell yourself, if someone says something negative today, I will take a breath before I answer. Or, if my feelings are too strong, I will wait 10 minutes before talking again. Making a plan like this helps you feel ready and less afraid the next time a hard moment comes. It is very important not to add blame or judgment on top of your feelings. If you feel hurt or angry, do not say, I am bad because I feel this way. Instead, say, I am human and my feelings are normal. Accept what you feel with kindness. The less you judge yourself, the faster your mind can become calm again. Sometimes you need longer rest to manage feelings after criticism. It is okay to sleep on the problem and think later. Sleep is a good way for your mind to reset and to see things with new eyes the next day. Many times, problems that feel huge at night seem smaller after you have rested. Another way to be calm during criticism is to focus your mind on your breath. When emotions are strong, pay attention only to your breathing. You can slowly breathe in through your nose, hold the breath for a few seconds, and breathe out softly through your mouth. Do this several times. Each time you do, your body receives a signal to relax. Your heartbeat will slow and your mind will become clearer. You can also try saying calming words in your mind, such as, I am safe. This moment will pass. I can handle this. These words are like small reminders to your brain that you have faced hard things before and you survived. Each time you repeat these words, they become more true for you. After strong emotions pass, your thinking mind returns. Now you can ask yourself important questions. Is what they said true? Is there something I can learn here? What can I do next time? Answering from a calm place helps you act with wisdom, instead of just reacting from hurt or anger. When you need to answer criticism out loud, choose your words carefully. There is no need to shout or use angry words. Instead, you can say, thank you for sharing. I need some time to think about this. Or you can ask for examples or let them know how you feel using calm words. If you do not agree, it is still possible to answer with kindness. I see this differently, but I respect that you told me your view. Strong emotions can also be managed by moving your body. If possible, you can go for a short walk, stretch your arms, or change your position in the room. Moving even a little can help your body use up some of the energy that emotions bring. Sometimes, a change in your physical place changes your feelings too. Not every person can control emotions perfectly, and that is fine. Even Marcus Aurelius and other wise people had times when they felt more than they wanted. The important thing is to keep practicing. Each time you slow down, name your feeling and answer with care, you get a little better at staying calm during criticism. Be patient with yourself as you learn. If you make mistakes or react quickly, forgive yourself. There will always be another day and another chance to try again. With each new time, it becomes more possible for you to keep steady and keep your peace, even when words are sharp or unfair. Sometimes, emotions become very strong because criticism touches something sensitive inside you. Perhaps it reminds you of past mistakes or of a fear you carry. When this happens, support from others can help. You may need to talk more than once, or you may want to see someone trained to listen, such as a counselor or mentor. You may also notice that your body helps you know how you are feeling. Pay attention to signs like a fast heartbeat, sweaty hands, tight muscles, or tiredness. These are all ways your body tries to show you that you are under stress. They are not dangerous, but they are signs to pause, breathe, and slow down. If criticism comes in public, the feelings might be even more intense. Embarrassment or shame can arrive very quickly. In these moments, your first task is not to answer or defend yourself, but to care for your own mind and heart. Repeat to yourself, everyone makes mistakes. This moment will be in the past very soon. Imagine yourself in a safe, calm place, even if only for a moment. This small act can help your body calm down, even when you are surrounded by others. Later, give yourself more time and space to recover. When you feel you have recovered from harsh feelings, think about what the criticism really meant. Can you find anything useful in it? Was there something true, or was it only an opinion? Did the other person say it in anger, or were they trying to help you? Let these questions guide you, not your first burst of emotion. Practicing calmness over and over prepares you for the next time criticism arrives. Each time you succeed, your mind remembers and you build confidence in yourself. Soon, staying calm becomes your natural way, not something you must force. If you ever feel like your emotions are too strong to manage, it is important to remember you are not alone. Everyone has days when everything feels heavy. Ask for help or take more time before you do anything. Your health and peace of mind matter most. Calmness is not about hiding your feelings, but about noticing them, understanding them, and choosing when and how to act. It is about giving yourself care so you can think and speak wisely. It is also about protecting your good relationships with others so that words do not damage what you have built together. When you keep your mind calm, you show a strength that does not depend on being right all the time. Even if someone is not fair to you, your calmness protects your peace and your dignity. With each new situation, you shape yourself into someone who is not controlled by words or by anger. Your calmness gives you a chance to share kindness in hard moments, too. If another person is upset or angry, answering with a calm voice helps them feel safer and more open. Calmness is something you can offer yourself and those around you. Sometimes, to stay calm, you must also protect your limits. If criticism turns into verbal attack or feels like bullying, you can calmly say, "I do not want to continue this conversation now," and remove yourself if possible. Calmness does not mean you accept everything. It means you know what is good for you and can act with respect for yourself. Over the years, you will find that managing your emotions makes every part of life easier. It helps you learn, solve problems, and stay true to yourself. Your growth does not depend on having no emotions, but on dealing with them in a gentle and honest way. There will always be new moments when you feel tested by words or situations. But each time you choose calm, breathe deeply, give yourself space, and act with care, you make yourself stronger inside. You notice that your mind is not pushed around by every hard feeling. Instead, you use your feelings as a signal to pause and begin again with wisdom and peace. By practicing these simple steps and treating yourself kindly, you build a life where criticism is only one small part, a part you can handle well, with strength and with hope for all that you will become. After you find calmness inside yourself, even when your feelings are strong, there is something even more powerful that you can do. You can choose to be respectful toward the person who gives you criticism. This is not always easy. When someone points out your mistake or says something negative about you, it is normal to feel hurt or angry. You may feel that the other person is being unfair or harsh. Still, treating them with respect, even in these hard moments, is a sign of real strength. Respect means listening without interrupting. It means not raising your voice, even if the other person does. It means not using rude words or gestures, even if you feel provoked. When you act with respect, you are showing that you have self-control. You are showing that you can remain kind and polite, even during difficult talks. Many people believe that respect must be earned, or that it should only be given when someone is nice to you. But Stoic thinkers like Marcus Aurelius taught something different. They believed respect is a way of protecting your own dignity. No matter how someone speaks to you, no matter what words they use, you can answer with respect because this is about your own character, not just about theirs. When you answer criticism with respect, you do not have to agree with what the other person says. You do not have to let them hurt you. You only choose to treat them as another person who also has feelings, fears, and hopes. Everyone wants to be listened to and treated fairly, so you offer this even in hard times. If you find yourself starting to lose patience, pause before you speak. Take a slow breath. Remind yourself, I can stay calm and polite. I do not need to respond with anger. This small pause can make a big difference. It gives you time to think and to avoid saying something you might regret. Use simple and clear words. Instead of shouting or arguing, you can say things like, "Thank you for telling me," or "I will think about what you said." If you do not understand the criticism, you can ask, "Can you please explain your point again?" These phrases show you are willing to listen and that you respect the other person's opinion, even if it is different from yours. If the conversation becomes disrespectful or if the other person raises their voice, you can say in a calm way, "I want to keep this talk respectful. I am listening and I hope we can speak kindly to each other." Sometimes your calm and respectful answer can help the other person to lower their voice too. Respect also means not making fun of the other person. Do not laugh at their mistakes, even if you disagree with what they say. Do not use sarcasm or call them names. Even if you are hurt, do not try to hurt them back. Each time you hold back angry or rude words, you are practicing self-respect. Another part of respect is to listen for the good intention, if there is one. Sometimes people give criticism because they care about you or want to help. Maybe their words sound sharp, but their wish is for you to do better, stay safe, or avoid a problem. If you notice a good intention, thank them for caring, even if it is hard to hear. Sometimes criticism is given without kindness. Someone may be upset or tired and point out your mistake in a way that feels mean. Even in these moments, you can decide not to let their mood change your own behavior. Your self-control can stop the cycle of anger from growing bigger and hurting the relationship. Respect also means giving the other person a chance to finish speaking before you answer. If you interrupt, they may feel you are not listening, and the talk may turn into an argument. Try to listen to their whole point. You may find when they finish that you understand their feelings more clearly. There are ways to disagree and still be polite. If you do not agree with the criticism, you can say, "I see things differently, but I respect your view." Or you can say, "Thank you for sharing your thoughts. I would like to explain my side too." This way, you keep the conversation safe and open, so both people can share honestly. You also protect respect by not talking about the other person behind their back. If you feel upset after the talk, it is better to speak with someone you trust only about your own feelings, rather than spread bad words about the critic. This protects your reputation and keeps the problem small. If you later realize the critic was right, respect means saying thank you and perhaps even apologizing if you were wrong. Admitting a mistake with honesty shows you are strong inside, not weak. People remember and admire those who can admit their error in a calm way. On the other hand, if you know the criticism is not true or is given in bad faith, you do not have to continue the argument. Say, "Thank you, I will think about it," and move on without anger. You can protect your own respect without feeding more conflict. Respect does not mean you are weak or that you let others walk over you. It means you know your own worth and you choose to act in a way that matches who you want to be. You do not let another person's mood decide your own dignity. Sometimes, your respectful behavior can change the outcome of a conversation. When two people are upset, it is easy for voices to rise and for anger to take over. But if even one person keeps respect, the talk can return to calm very quickly. People will remember your calmness and may even try to do the same the next time. Giving respect also means taking care with your body language. If you cross your arms, roll your eyes, or turn away, it can look like you are not listening or do not care. Try to keep your face gentle, your arms relaxed, and look at the other person when they are speaking. These small signs show respect just as much as your words do. Show respect by speaking softly and clearly. Do not use a cold or harsh voice, even if you are upset. If you need to take a break, say so kindly and return to the talk after you have calmed down. It is always better to pause than to let anger control the conversation. In groups, showing respect is very important. If you receive criticism in front of others, do not answer with jokes or try to make the critic look foolish. Keep your answer peaceful and keep the group feeling safe. People feel more comfortable sharing their views when they see that respect is the rule, even during disagreement. Respect can be shown in how you end a hard conversation. You can finish by thanking the other person for their honesty or by wishing them well. You do not have to leave with anger or bitterness. Closing the conversation gently protects both your heart and theirs. If you feel too upset to be respectful, it is good to wait before you answer. Give yourself enough time so that you can speak kindly and listen well. Everyone has moments when feelings are too big, but with practice you will find it easier to come back to respect. When you practice respect during criticism, you also become a model for others. Family, friends, and co-workers notice when you handle hard talks with patience and honesty. They may start to copy your way, and life together becomes more peaceful. There may be times when you give criticism to someone else. Remember to offer it with the same respect you hope to receive. Speak gently, use examples instead of general statements, and share your wish for them to grow without making them feel small. Criticism given with respect is much more likely to be heard and to lead to good change. In every part of life, school, work, friendships, or home, keeping respect at the center of your actions makes connection and understanding possible. Even when you must say no or disagree, you can do so with kindness and without fear. Respect works together with calmness and listening. These three skills help you move through difficult days with much less pain. They give you more control over your choices, and they protect your mind from the harm that comes from anger, shame, or resentment. Write down your thoughts after a hard conversation. Ask yourself, did I act with respect? Did I listen? Did I speak kindly? If you did, be proud of yourself. If you did not, forgive yourself and plan to do better next time. This gentle review helps you grow. Treat yourself with respect, too. If you make a mistake, talk to yourself the way you would speak to a friend. Use soft and encouraging words, not harsh ones. This makes it easier to learn and keeps your mind strong for the future. If someone never gives you respect, even when you always try your best, you do not need to keep that person close. You deserve to be treated kindly. It is fine to step back or seek help. Protecting your own respect is sometimes the best choice. Even in moments when you are alone after criticism, carry respect in your mind. Say to yourself, I did the best I could. I treated others kindly. I can try again tomorrow. These words help you let go of pain and move forward with hope. With every act of respect, you make your life and the lives of others better. You become a person of trust, someone who is safe to talk to, and someone others look to during hard times. Each respectful choice, even the small ones, adds up over time and makes the world a little kinder. Respect, when joined with calmness and good listening, is a powerful tool for every challenge you will face. These habits protect your heart and bring peace to your mind. They build stronger friendships, healthier families, and more honest workplaces. Each day, practice respect with every person you meet, even if it feels hard. In time, you will notice that hard conversations become easier and that you carry less anger and worry inside. You learn to let criticism be only what it is, a chance to grow, not a reason to hurt yourself or others. By living this way, you find that you are not just waiting for respect from the world. You are giving it, shaping it, and leading with it. Even difficult days will bring moments of pride because you chose your actions with care and kindness. And with each respectful answer, you become even more ready for whatever life brings next. When you choose respect in every hard moment, you start to notice deep changes inside yourself. You may feel calmer after arguments. You might go through your day without worrying as much about what people will say about you. Respecting others, practicing calm, and listening with care are not just tools for peaceful conversations. They are also ways to build a strong inner life. This strength grows slowly, step by step, every time you face criticism, and do not let it break you. Each time you listen to criticism, keep your voice gentle and stay true to your own values. You are training your mind. You are telling yourself, I can handle this. At first, you might only feel a tiny bit stronger. Later, you will feel more confident, even in new or difficult situations. This is what people mean when they talk about inner strength. It is not about being tough or never feeling pain. It is about knowing who you are, trusting yourself, and not letting the words or actions of others control your feelings or your life. Inner strength grows by practicing over and over. Just like when you learn to ride a bicycle, play music, or remember new words in a language, you get better with time. Every time you stay calm, listen, and treat others with respect, you add to your strength. One day, you might look back and notice that things which once made you scared or hurt you deeply are now much easier to face. Confidence is also built in this way. Confidence does not mean you believe you will always do everything right. It grows when you see yourself handle hard times and come through okay. Every time you listen to a hard truth and make a small change, your trust in yourself gets bigger. You start to believe, even if things go wrong, I will be okay. I know how to respond, and I can take care of myself. Confidence is also seeing yourself improve, even in small ways. Maybe you received a comment about your work and used it to get better. Maybe you heard feedback about your words and learned to speak more clearly next time. The more you learn from criticism without fear, the less power it has to hurt you. Instead, it becomes one more way you keep growing. Some people think confidence comes from being better than others or from never making mistakes. But real, lasting confidence comes from being honest with yourself, believing in your own ability to learn, and knowing that you do not depend on the praise or approval of others. When you can hear both positive and negative feedback and stay steady inside, you are truly confident. To build more inner strength, remind yourself every day that you decide your worth. No mistake or bad comment can take away the good things inside you. Your skills, your kindness, your honesty, your caring for others. These are things no one can take from you with words. Sometimes, when you feel small after criticism, it helps to call to mind times when you did something well. Think about when you were brave, finished a hard job, or showed kindness to someone else. If you find yourself feeling weak or sad after criticism, ask, what can I learn from this? If the answer is that there is something you can improve, make a plan. But if you see that the comment was only someone's opinion or based on a misunderstanding, remind yourself, this is not about me. I can let it go. Each time you let go of things you cannot control, it is like adding another block to the foundation of your confidence. Don't forget to ask for help when you need it. People who seem strong are not always alone. Often they talk to friends, family members, teachers, or mentors about their feelings and worries. Sharing your feelings does not make you weak. It shows you care enough about yourself to ask for what you need. Sometimes just talking about your fears or doubts makes them smaller. Building inner strength also means facing fear. Try to notice the moments when you avoid something because you worry someone will criticize you. These are small chances to be brave. You can try again, speak up, or take a new step, even if you feel nervous. The more often you step forward in the face of possible criticism, the easier it becomes to handle if it does happen. Bravery grows each time you move forward, even when you feel afraid. Self-confidence grows best when you are honest about your progress. Each evening or each week, look back and ask yourself, what did I do well when I faced criticism? What would I like to do better next time? Write down your answers or talk about them with someone you trust. This helps you see your steps more clearly and shows you that you are making progress even if the changes are small. Remember, inner strength is quiet. You do not need to show others how strong you are. You do not need to prove yourself with loud words or arguments. You only need to know deep inside that you can face hard things and handle them in your own way. When criticism comes from people you respect, use it to get better. When it comes from people who do not know you or always speak in anger, use that moment to practice letting go. Both situations help you build your inner power. Surrounding yourself with supportive people helps your growth. People who respect you for who you are, encourage you, and tell you the truth kindly are important. Choose to spend more time with these people. Their words make it easier for you to see your strengths and take good steps forward. If you meet a person who seems to always criticize or never see your good side, protect your own peace. You do not have to try to please everyone. You do not have to believe everyone's words. Show respect, answer politely, but do not let their opinion rule your life. You can care about them, but still keep a safe distance in your heart. Try to celebrate your growth, even when it feels small. If you stayed calm when someone was angry, if you learned from a hard comment, or if you forgave yourself after a mistake, these are big steps. Each one adds to your strength, even if no one else sees it. You may notice that over time, negative comments do not stick in your mind as much. You return to calm faster, and you spend less energy worrying about what others think. This means your confidence is growing, and your inner foundation is getting stronger. When you make a mistake and someone points it out, remember it is normal and human to get things wrong sometimes. Do not let guilt or shame cover your whole day. Instead, try thinking, I made a mistake and I can start again. But strong people are not perfect. They are simply willing to learn and begin again when they fall down. Before you go to sleep, give yourself kind words. People often repeat the angry or negative words someone else said. But you can choose to speak gently to yourself at the end of every day. Try saying in your mind, today I tried my best. I listened. I learned. Tomorrow is another chance. These small rituals help your mind rest. If you find it hard to remember your strengths, write them down. Make a list of times when you solved a problem, helped someone, or kept going even when things were difficult. Read your list when you need more confidence. Over time, you can add to it, and it will become proof that you are growing all the time. Forgive yourself for times when you were not your best. Maybe you got angry, ignored someone's advice, or said words you wish you could take back. Everyone makes mistakes, even wise people. What matters is that you notice your mistake, learn from it, and try to act differently in the future. Inner strength helps you in every part of life, not just with criticism. When you feel strong inside, it becomes easier to start a new project, meet new people, change your plans, or face new problems. Nothing in life is perfect, but your readiness to face things calmly brings peace and joy. Take time to help others feel strong too. When you notice someone facing criticism, be a kind listener. Remind them of their good qualities. Help them find the lesson and show respect to their feelings. You will find that building strength together is often easier than doing it alone. If you are part of a group, at work, at school, or in your family, you can help everyone get stronger together. Talk about ways you can all listen better, support each other, and use feedback kindly. Groups where people feel safe make it easier for everyone to share ideas and learn. Practice being gentle with yourself when you fail. Imagine what you would say to a friend who made a mistake, and use those same words with yourself. The more you treat yourself with care, the less you are afraid of making mistakes. Fear of failure starts to shrink. When you use criticism as a way to build strength, you also make your mind more flexible. You learn to keep trying new ways until you grow. You become curious instead of afraid. Instead of thinking, "I cannot do this," you begin to say, "How can I get better? And what can I learn?" If there are people who try to make you feel small on purpose, remember that their words are not facts. They are only opinions shaped by their own lives and feelings. Your worth does not change because of what someone else says. You can walk away from people who are unkind or set rules about when and how you listen to them. This is another way you respect and protect your own strength. Sometimes you may go back to old habits and feel pain after criticism. This is normal. The important thing is to notice it and try again. Every day you get another chance to practice and grow. Each new start adds more to your inner foundation. In all your efforts, be patient. Strength and confidence are not prizes you win in one day. They are built through many small choices, many hard moments, and many times when you did not give up. Every lesson you learn, every moment you stay kind, and every choice to try again makes you stronger. Step by step, you become someone who handles criticism with peace and hope. You spend less time worried about other people's opinions. You trust your own judgment. You search for ways to improve, and you move through life ready for what comes next. By building inner strength and confidence, you create a life where you are freer to be yourself, freer to share your gifts, and more able to face anything life brings. This is not just good for you. It is good for everyone around you too. Strong, gentle, and confident people help make the whole world more safe and open to growth. Keep returning to the habits that make you strong. Calm breathing, listening, showing respect, reminding yourself of your worth, asking for help, practicing new skills, and forgiving yourself. Each time you practice, you take another step forward. Each time you help someone else feel strong, you move together toward a kinder, braver future. As confidence grows inside, you begin to notice that criticism feels smaller and that your belief in yourself feels bigger. You feel lighter and happier. You notice you have more energy to focus on your dreams, your work, and your friends and family. You're no longer held down by fear. Instead, you are lifted by the quiet strength that only comes from trying, learning, and never giving up on yourself or your goals. As you keep building your confidence from deep inside and feel less afraid of other people's words, something important happens. Criticism starts to look different in your eyes. It no longer seems like a problem that must be avoided. Instead, you begin to see it as a part of life that can help you move forward. You do not worry so much about every comment. You find that even when someone says something hard, you can stay peaceful. Little by little, you notice that criticism brings you many chances to grow, feel happier, and live a better life each day. This change does not happen all at once. You start by using what you have learned, listening with care, staying calm, showing respect, and separating truth from opinion. These skills allow you to see criticism in a new way. You begin to use feedback to make your work and your life better. You see mistakes or comments about your actions as a signal that you can do something new or different next time. Each step makes you a bit stronger. When you use criticism for growth, you practice accepting that learning never stops. Even as you get older and learn more, there will always be places where you can improve. You start to look forward to getting helpful feedback. You know that someone else's view can open your eyes to things you did not see about yourself. If the feedback is honest and fair, you thank the person, then use what they said to take small steps for change. Sometimes, criticism helps you see old habits that no longer help you. You may find you have a way of speaking that confuses others, a habit of being late, or a pattern that makes work harder. When someone points out these things, it helps you see where a change will make every day easier. Making these changes can make you feel lighter and happier because your life starts to run more smoothly. You can apply lessons from criticism to almost every part of life. At work or school, Feedback can show you new ways to solve problems, understand lessons, or do your best. With friends and family, someone else's words can show you how to listen better or share your own feelings more clearly. At home, a comment about your actions can be the gentle push you need to try new skills, make routines better, or share tasks in a fair way. When you keep improving, you feel proud, and the people close to you notice the difference. Another gift of using criticism well is better relationships. Instead of feeling nervous about what people might say, you become someone who welcomes honest talk. You show others you listen. You do not become angry quickly, and you are open to change. This makes people feel safe to share with you. It also helps them feel respected, which often makes them kinder and more gentle in their own words. In time, you begin to give feedback to others in a better way. You know from your own experience how important it is to be calm, clear, and respectful. When you need to talk about a problem, you do it with kindness. You give space for the other person to speak. You focus on what can be changed, not just on mistakes. This makes your friendships, family life, and work connections stronger and warmer. Over the months and years, you notice another change. Criticism does not last as long in your mind. You start to remember the lessons instead of the pain. You recover faster from hard moments. Instead of feeling stuck, you look for solutions. Your mind is lighter and filled with more hope. When you use criticism as a path for growth and happiness, you train yourself to pay attention to progress, not only to problems. You enjoy every success, even the small ones, a good talk, finishing a task, or learning a new skill. Each step forward makes you feel more ready for new challenges. Learning from criticism also helps you accept yourself. When you know everyone makes mistakes, you do not feel as much shame about your own. You see life as a long road, full of lessons. You trust that you can improve with time. This trust makes you kinder to yourself and to others, even when you fail or fall behind. Sometimes you will still feel hurt by criticism. That is normal. On these days, use what you have learned to take care of your feelings. Give yourself time and space. Ask for support from a friend or write down your thoughts. Remember, every feeling passes. Each new day is a new start. When you look back, notice how much you have changed. Maybe you used to become silent or react with anger when someone corrected you. Now, you know how to stay steady, how to find a lesson, and how to decide what matters. You feel more sure of yourself, not because of what other people say, but because of the work you have done inside yourself. Enjoying life is easier when criticism is no longer a fear. You spend less time worrying about what others will think. You feel free to try new things, speak your mind, and share your ideas. With this freedom, you open doors to new experiences and friendships. As you grow, you also help others grow. You notice when a friend feels upset by feedback, or when someone at work is nervous about making mistakes. You can offer support, listen, and remind them that criticism does not decide their value. Sometimes you will be the one who helps someone else find their own path to growth and happiness. Turning criticism into growth and happiness is not about reaching a place where you never make mistakes. It is about how you respond every time life is less than perfect. Every problem is another chance to get stronger or wiser. Every kind answer is another brick in your foundation. Every lesson learned is an addition to your own happiness. It helps to have habits that support your growth. Keep a small notebook or use your phone to write down what you learn from hard moments. Each week, read your notes and notice the progress you have made. Plan a small step for the next week, a new way to listen, a habit to work on, or a reminder to be gentle with yourself. Make time for quiet thinking. Each day, take a few minutes to sit with your thoughts. Ask yourself, what did I face today? How did I respond to feedback? What do I feel proud of? What do I want to try again? These small moments of reflection help you remember that you are growing, even on days that feel slow. Practice saying kind words to yourself every day. Use gentle voices in your mind. Remind yourself of your strengths and let go of blame for old mistakes. The more you talk kindly to yourself, the easier it is to bounce back from tough words and to focus on happiness. You will learn to use your strengths to help others. Maybe you become someone at work who others trust to give honest but kind advice. Maybe family members come to you for support. Maybe friends know that you are a safe space for hard talks. Your way of living brings good changes not only to you, but to the people around you. You begin to let go of the idea that you need everyone's approval. You understand that some people are still learning how to give good criticism or may act from their own pain. You stop trying to be perfect. Instead, you focus on being true to yourself, open to learning, and ready to make peace with mistakes. Some days, you will be brave and take a risk, even knowing someone might criticize you. You start to feel proud of yourself for trying, not only for succeeding. You view mistakes as a marker of a person who is moving ahead, not standing still. This simple idea helps happiness grow because your sense of worth depends on effort and honesty, not just on outcomes. Even when you achieve goals, you remember that learning never stops. Every level of skill has its own feedback and challenges. As you reach higher, stay open to learning. Treat your own growth as a friend that will be with you for a lifetime. You can also help groups and communities use criticism in healthy ways. If you are in a group, encourage everyone to share feedback calmly and to listen without anger. Help others see mistakes as a part of learning, not as a reason for shame. The more people share honestly, the stronger the group becomes, and the more everyone enjoys working and living together. Take time to focus on what really matters to you. Criticism sometimes points you toward your greatest priorities. If you hear feedback about your time, your health, your relationships, or your dreams, pay extra attention. These are areas where small changes often have the biggest rewards for happiness and well-being. As the seasons go by, you see that your life is fuller and more balanced. You spend less time dwelling on past mistakes and more time moving forward. You find joy in little things every day, quiet mornings, talks with friends, or a small success at work. Your mind is less troubled by blame or worry. Look for ways to celebrate your growth. Share your story with someone you trust. Encourage others who are learning. Mark your progress in simple ways. A favorite meal, a walk outdoors, music that brings you joy. Each celebration is a way to remind yourself that you are changing for the better. If you ever feel stuck or discouraged, remember that growth is a process. No one feels improvement every day. There will be times of slow change or disappointment. In those moments, return to your habits: listening, calm, respect, reflecting, kindness, and trust that each small step adds up with time. You may find new goals as your confidence grows. Perhaps you want to learn a new skill, build a new connection, or help someone else in need. With your new way of thinking, you do not fear mistakes as much. You know now that anything you try brings feedback, and every lesson is a way to grow stronger and happier. People around you may notice the changes in you. They may start to follow your example, practicing more patience, offering better feedback, and showing kindness. In this way, your growth becomes part of a bigger wave of positive change in your community, school, or family. Never forget that your journey is valuable, not just the big moments, but every small effort you make to listen, improve, forgive yourself, and move forward. If ever you wonder if it matters, remember that each choice makes your life, and sometimes the lives of those around you, more peaceful, more connected, and more full of hope. With every chance you take to learn from criticism, you are building a life based on trust in yourself, respect for others, and faith that you can handle anything the world brings to you. This is real happiness. Not freedom from all mistakes or pain, but freedom from fear of them. Bit by bit, criticism becomes your helper, not your enemy. Feedback becomes a friend. Your mind grows strong and clear, and your days grow brighter because you know how to use even hard moments for good. You do not just survive, you thrive, giving kindness, learning with courage, and walking forward with hope in every step.